Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night.
And
I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
Nope.
Summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time. This highway does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Oh, budget live, not so live from the Low Budget Live Bar and Grill, and we are freaking back. We're back. Whoo, man. We are back in Southern Middle Tennessee. Welcome, you bunch of low-lifers. This is the podcast for Monday, July 10th, and we took a week off, which when you do a podcast that comes out on Monday turns into being about 2 weeks off. And I appreciate y'all. I said on the last show we did there that I was going to take some time with the family. I was going to take some time to mourn the fact that I was turning 40 years old, and I was going to go to the beach and actually have myself a vacation, and I did just that. So many of y'all reached out. We're missing you. I appreciate that. But man, it was a good break. You kind of we all do this in life, and y'all know this for damn sure. But you get in a routine, you do this same thing every week. So to have that hard pause vacation, I really do think is important in life. And so family and I, man, we got all the kids, Triple Threat and I. Even took Harper's boyfriend Keaton with us. He's making the cut. We like us some Keaton, so we went down to the old dadgum Panhandle, rented us a house, and all was well. We skipped out on doing a week's worth of the podcast. I turned 40 down there. I drank a lot of Tito's. I ate a lot of raw oysters. And I feel like, and if I wanted everybody to throw up, I would do this podcast shirtless. But I feel like I'm one that, man, I don't get sunburned a lot. And for whatever reason, it was like being on the face of the sun down there. And when I tell you what's going on under this shirt right now, is I'm going back to my new skin that I had, I think, when I was actually born. I think we on about layer number 9 of skin. So I am burnt to a crisp. But I am back in the bar and grill, and I appreciate, man, I had so many people, the well wishes, the birthday wishes, and it does matter. It means a lot. I tried to get back to as many of you as I could on that, and it's always amazing that people pay attention. It's always amazing. And kind of ended birthday week, birthday celebration. We got the Triple Threat's birthday coming up. Hers is on the 11th, and we always do this combined party throwdown for Happy Birthday America, Happy Birthday Marissa, Happy Birthday Luke, and we ended that. I'm recording on Sunday. We did that last night, and it rained for the most part, and we were all jammed up in the house. Had the biggest crowd I think we've ever had, but some dear friends and some folks that I just was so glad to spend time with, all in one place, non-fishing industry related, non-work related. We all just had a damn good time last night. And I even let Gerald swindle on my property. I tried to get my dog to bite him. Him and Dumb Darian both showed up. Miss Kay Donaldson, ABT, was here. Brad Knight, BK, showed up. Big C. It was just a star-studded event. So many near and dear friends of mine from TH Marine, and it was a good damn night, family and friends. So ended that last night, and the rain gave us a break enough to shoot about $9,000 worth of fireworks. I need a fireworks sponsor. I see y'all Bassmaster, y'all sponsored by, I think the Andersons on TNT, but I need some more fireworks in my life, and we break the bank on them every year. We had a dang good time, man. There was a few missing, but it was no digits missing, but a few folks missing because of the weather. But it was a damn good night, and it's always good to get in like that. Just y'all know what that fellowshipping mode. That is always just. It means a lot. And right, headed into ICAST, so we're going to do some more of that this week down there in the middle of that Orlando craziness. But thank y'all for letting me take a week off. Thank y'all for the birthday wishes, and just thank y'all for being damn lowlifers. All right, let's get with it. Let's get with it right here. So the only thing this company doesn't make is something that would take care of a nasty sunburn. They got you covered on mildew stain cleaner. They got you protected with their Extreme Clean series. All kinds of good stuff. It's Star Bright season, but also that StarTron kicks ethanol in the teeth. It does not kick a sunburn in the teeth. I was so desperate that I rubbed StarTron. That may be when my skin's peeling off. I'm pretty sure it says on the label not to do that. StarTron kicking ethanol in the teeth in your weed eater, in your chainsaw, most importantly in your outboard engine. And Star Bright cleaning products going to have you looking fresh out there on the water. Star Bright. And the folks at StarTron bringing you LBL for a very long time now. We appreciate the folks in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Pro Guide Batteries. ProGuideBatteries.com. Use code LBL10 there to save you some cash on their new lithium batteries. I hope y'all took advantage of that 4th of July sale. It is now over, so LBL10 is where it's at to get you some of those new lithiums. I got the lithium trollings. I got the lithium cranking batteries. I got a plethora of accessories on there. ProGuideBatteries.com. Baitworks.com, bait-works.com, bait-works.com, Duncan-10 at bait-works.com. They had the mega sale, crazy sale through the 4th of July, but Duncan-10 will save you money there. They have got so many things in stock right now, probably less than they did after the 4th of July sale, but don't order it from them if you don't want it to show up at your door. Get you some of the Luke Duncan's Low Budget Live, LOB jigs, whatever you want to call them. Lots of bites is what it stands for in this case. Freaking 7 colors. Action-packed little jig right there, trust me. Finer than frog hair skirt materials. Got that 3/0 trocar hook. Not a game changer like we'll see this week. You know, there's so many game changers coming out this week. But it certainly gets a lot of bites. So get over there, bait-works.com. They got all kind of stuff on there. Mega bass, you name it. Get on there. Bait-works.com. And last but not least, hang the freaking banner. Express Boats, Hot Springs, Arkansas, the original all-welded aluminum bass boat, sea deck bow to stern, 96-inch beam, 96-inch beam. Stable fishing platform. If you've ever fished out of an aluminum boat, this is not your granddaddy's aluminum boat. Stable. You can take 3-4 grown men, have them moving around in the boat. You'll never know the difference. It's as stable as any fishing platform I've ever been in, and maybe better. Storage for days. Absolute best hole shot in the game with the 250 Yamaha show. Y'all hear me say it each and every week. It is my boat of choice for a multitude of reasons. It is a freaking battleship. The X-19 is a great boat. You've got the bay boats. You've got the little H-17. So many choices at Express Boats, who've been in building excitement since 1966. Express Boats, we're coming up on their big dealer meeting we're going to do here in just a few weeks. All right, ICAST week. I don't even know why we do ICAST at this point, because we just release everything way before. There's like 97 new trolling motors. Garmin's got their new saltwater trolling motor, which does look badass. I wish I had a saltwater boat. The Kraken, which is a cool ass name too. But Minn Kota released their new brushless, little deal, little Ultrex deal, brushless, quiet, which is what Garmin and the Rants and Power Poles, what theirs are all based off of, that brushless technology. And I can speak for the Garmin Force. It is just that. It's fast. It's quiet, and it's really cool when everything went to brushless. And I've been running that for many, many moons now, but several years. But Everything drops though, man. You get on Bassmaster, like, oh, here's everything you're gonna freaking see. A lot of it's just knockoff stuff. Looks like, for the most part, kind of typical year. You play the game of what's Berkeley going to release this year that everybody else already makes. That kind of deal. I saw some new chatterbaits coming that are cool. I don't know. I'll report back after the show. I normally don't get to roam around too much down there. I'm kind of pinned up in the TH booth, but I'm confused on why we even have iCast. That's been my preaching all week since I got back from vacations, because everything just comes out. Used to, it was like this anticipation before you went to iCast, because you were going to see all the new stuff. There was going to be a buzz around what was going to win this award or that award, and now you just see it all on social media 2 weeks before, and it's like, oh, are there any actual surprises? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's cool that you can go over and actually see what you've already seen on social media 57 times, but I don't know. It's a weird show. It's a very weird show. It's changed a lot over the years, but this is iCast week, so game changers be damned, as Fat Cat says. Game changers. He was the first one, I will say, that pointed out that everything is called a game changer, and I see a lot of people running with that now, but that is Fat Cat all the freaking way. All right, so real quick before we get into the goods, and I don't know how well you can see this because this light's really bright, but I just want to give a shout out to Gussie. I got back in the office this week, and we've got a new office at TH Marine. I think this got lost in the mail a little bit, but I got it this week. It's a Bassmaster magazine with my boy Gussie on the cover. Gussie's got it, and he signed it, sent it to me there at the office. Luke, keep entertaining us with LBL. Appreciate the friendship, Gussie. That's a class act. I want to say that was a very cool thing to receive, and will find its place here in the Bar and Grill. There's lots of things hanging up in here you can't see, but that will be framed and put in here forever, because that's too cool, man. It's I talked about Gussie when he won. He's a guy that I immediately had a connection with when we met on the FLW tour, but everybody feels that way when they meet Gussie, because that's how he makes you feel, because he's a great human. And it's so cool to see a guy like him that and you know how hard he works, win the biggest tournament in bass fishing, the Bassmaster Classic. So shout out Gussie for the very, very cool gift. Very cool. So I've seen this going around, and it makes me laugh, but I've seen this going around this week, and it did what it was meant to do, which was stir up crap. But the bassfan.com world rankings, first of all, when Jay Kumar ran Bassfan and owned Bassfan, the Bassfan world rankings meant something, because he hosted this cool ass tournament at the end of it where it was like FLW tour guys and Bassmaster guys. It was awesome. Back in the day, as they say. It was definitely back in the day. But the Bassfan rankings they were controversial then. You just didn't have the ability to comment on Facebook 47 times about it, or Instagram. But they mattered then. Now, I mean, and I saw MLF share it, and a lot of anglers. I know Jacob Wheeler's #1 in the world. No shock there to Bassfan, but and he's kills it, right? Little Alton in second, but it took to 9th place, I think, to even have a Bassmaster Elite Series angler on there. But people are just losing their mind. I just laughed, whatever. Keep scrolling. They're owned by the same media company that owns Major League Fishing, dummies. The exact same company. Of course they're going to be more Major League Fishing centric. If you didn't know that, now you do. Calm down. Get off the keyboard. You're just feeding into the damn algorithm and getting them more clicks on their dumb freaking articles. It's Bassfan was edgy. That used to be, dude, every morning when Kumar had it, you got on bassfan.com to get the tea, as the kids say. The tea, it sucks. It's just not a good website. Sorry. Who goes to a website to get information anyways anymore? Social media, half the guys are telling you crap 2 or 3 days, having iCast. You're finding out the goods before people actually report on it most of the time. So, I don't know. It's like any other media company, though. It's not going to be, they're owned by who they're owned by. They're not going to be unbiased in any kind of way, right? But the rankings, it's just something to stir people up. It's like saying, who's the best, LeBron or Michael Jordan? People just lose their mind over on the internet, that kind of thing that stirs up a conversation that, stays in sports talk radio. It's the same kind of deal, but they're owned by MLF, the same company that owns MLF, same media company. So they're going to go, oh, these guys are all the guys that you need to see. And then the more you comment and go, what about blah, 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 people lose their mind. I think Kyle Welcher made the top 10 for bass there. I haven't really looked at it that close. But there's a lot of dudes that just have stone cold, and it's supposed to be like a running average, but there's a lot of guys that just crack them on the Elite Series. This will always be the problem when you got two different things that they look into, but it's definitely a problem if they're issuing out the best anglers in the world when they're owned by the same company where 9 of the 10 best anglers in the world are competing according to them. So quit commenting on that. Lord have mercy. Made me laugh all week, though. I will say that. And then I got a really good guest today that I'm looking forward to talking to for multiple reasons. But hearing through the grapevine, I've had a lot of folks reach out on social about this too. That MLF, basically, there might be like one person that did something that they're going to actually supposedly penalize, even though multiple people broke rules on camera. You can see it. We've talked it to death. But here we go again. Now I'm hearing they're passing polygraphs. They're passing polygraphs, but they're failing in their hearts. I don't know, man. I think it's a weird thing to polygraph somebody if you see their actions on camera, right? And I know, just again through the grapevine, that a lot of these dudes are panicked, and they should be, because if you get DQ'd for what was very blatant on camera, then people are going to think different of you, and rightfully so. Rightfully so, because if you're willing to go that far when the camera's pointed at you, I don't want to know what you do off camera. I've said that on the show. So, I don't know. Once again, feel like they're dropping the ball. Shocker in the fishing industry that we're not DQing somebody that we should. And we'll find any way to not give out a DQ. I don't get it. Again, like I said, I have talked to a number of people from Bass Pro Tour that fish, and there are a lot of not happy veteran pros about what's going on. Insert name here, basically. They're pissed about this situation. And if anybody tries to sugarcoat that to you in any other way, that it's all bubbles and butterflies and there aren't veteran pros pissed off about this situation, they are hashtag lying to you. We can't use hashtags anymore either, by the way, because Instagram threads killed Twitter. So now hashtags are gone. But anyways, hashtag lying to you if anybody tells you any different. There's a lot of freaking pissed off people over this situation. And it's just, well, it just didn't happen. Let's just look over here. Whatever. I'm just trying to decide if we'll wait and see what they do. We'll wait and see what they do. And I've had several people, we've talked about a lot of the names on here. A lot of people are like, you should name the name. I've named most of the names. Most of the names have been named. You don't have to look hard to find who's being accused of any of this at all. But, yeah, you know, like I said, imagine that. Imagine that. Here we go. Another big old sweep right on the rug. Sucks, man. I think a mass DQ of people that were doing wrong would be a bigger statement than what's happening. And I guess they just think that it's that maybe all this stuff's not getting out to the public. Like, do you live in a damn bubble that much that you don't realize that smartasses like me are talking about it and a lot of other people? Like, come on, dude. The damn Alabama Bass Council going hard in the paint on it. Freaking slick throwing straight gas at them. And it's like Jeff Sprague 2.0. It was funny. I was looking just bored the other day, and I actually found the press release from when he snagged those fish at Lake Fork on camera and all that, and it was like, Sprague's bass, deemed officially scoreable or whatever, and it was just the dumbest, just freaking press release, like the whole thing, man. It's like, God, just do the right thing one time. And then they hung Sprague out to dry last year because they had no choice after ICAST when everything got so crazy. So anyways, I don't know. We shall see. One thing is for sure, ladies and gentlemen, we are fixing to talk to. We're going to try to get him on the phone. Make sure he doesn't text me to tell me he's disappearing into the day here. So this guy, I had him on not long ago. One of my favorite people in the fishing industry. One of everybody's favorite people in the fishing industry, I feel like. We're going to get the sauce from him, presented by the W Sauce. They got their new breakfast sauce. It's delicious on everything. You can just about drink it. Breakfast sauce, but the W Sauce, America's Worcestershire sauce. That's a hard word to say. They came up with it over in damn Europe. Over across the sea, and this is America. And we call it the W Sauce. So get you some of it. Local store here in town was selling it. And Ace Hardware. True Value. And here in my hometown of Elberg, Tennessee. It was really cool. He had a whole display. He says he's killing it with it. Says it's selling really good. So it's cool to see. Cool to see in person. We're going to get the sauce right now, though. This man has $2 million. Yes. $2 million. You read that right. $2 million in career earnings in tournament bass fishing. He has 7 wins, 51 top 10s. He's won 2 Bassmaster Classics. He's won an Angler of the Year over on the old Bass Pro Tour. He's won a couple of them BPTs now at this point. Absolutely insane. He just won Lake St. Clair. We're going to get him on the phone right now and get the sauce from him. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Lee. Fingers crossed he remembers the interview. You never know. He might not, he might for real just dodge us.
What's up?
Jordan Lee on Low Budget Live.
Hey, it's been a little while.
Well, I think we did one. I think we did the Christmas celebration episode was with you last year, so it hasn't been that long. And now this is like Christmas in July, buddy. Right here.
I know, dude. I know, and I'm doing it from. Maybe I'll have good service on Lake Guntersville. It's been a little while since I've been out here, so I decided to come today.
So you're on the Big G, huh? Out
yeah,
there bouncing around.
I'm with a local legend.
Who?
Hadley Cohen.
Oh, you are indeed with a legend. You're with royalty, dude.
I'm with the Gville Sniper. I've been running the boat, but I think it's time for him to take over.
So you are indeed, and Hadley also. He's got that radio voice.
He does.
He does. He'd be on that sports radio talking all kind of stuff.
You and him are similar.
Hey, listen, Hadley wears a visor and pulls it off. I could never wear a visor.
He does.
He kills a visor game. He's like Scott Martin with the visor. I can't pull that look. My bald spot.
There's not many guys that can pull a visor off.
But think about when Hadley walks up though. You never go, shouldn't be wearing a visor. You're just like, sadly. You know what I mean? If I walk up or you walk up, they're gonna go, why the hell Luke and Joe wearing visors?
He said he's got some TH ones, but they're all dirty.
Sponsor game. He's got some of them old school ones too. I've seen them. Some of them Bill Huntley visors.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so are you you just out there trying to see if you can still catch a largemouth since you're the smallmouth king now?
Yeah, I don't think I can, man. You go up there and you get pretty spoiled when your bait doesn't hit the bottom and there's a fish on there, and so you come down, you come back down to home and you get a little reality check.
Yeah, you come to home where there were 700 boats that just fished the same stretch as you're on right now yesterday.
Yeah, it's not near as easy. So you definitely get off your high horse.
Immediately, you're like, I'm going to come down here and show these Guntersville bass what's up. An hour later, you're like, no, I'm not.
No, I'm not. No, they just run from everything, whatever you throw out there. So
it's amazing, dude. Something else that's amazing that I read. I don't guess I realized this when I was keeping up with St. Clair. You won the big bass every single round you competed in. You caught the biggest fish every single round.
Every single round. That was, and what was crazy too about that to me, because I knew some of them were. I mean, I hate to use the word luck, but
yeah,
the first day, that fish, that's the only bass I caught there. And probably 20 walleye. So, I mean, you can call it what you want, but it wasn't like I pulled up to a hole that just had a ton of fish on it, but that was the big fish of the day. But yeah, every day somehow landed a giant.
I love that you're like, somehow. You've always been like that. You're like, yeah, all shucks. I don't know how this happened.
I know.
And we are like, okay, Joe, it's because you're like a fish magnet, obviously. It's kind of working out for you. I don't know if you've looked at your stat line lately.
Well,
as you're throwing your J. Lee signature series rod and reel right now.
That's right.
It's working.
When they come off 4 different spots though on St. Clair areas, big, 4 different areas. I mean, it wasn't like a one spot where I was just catching these monsters, but that was pretty cool.
What is it about St. Clair and you though? Because you've had good runs there every time you've ever been there. And then you wore that crown that time with Zona.
Yeah, that's what people know me from. St.
The
Clair,
sturgeon, of course.
The king.
Yeah.
I was wearing the king, some stupid outfit Zona made me wear.
It was the greatest moment in bass fishing history. I don't care what anybody else says. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense, and it was beautiful.
No, I can't remember what Zona was wearing. I was wearing the cape.
Zona had these gold pants on.
Gold pants. Yeah.
I still don't know why.
Pants. St. Clair, man, I was thinking about it after the tournament, and I actually fished 5 tournaments there. I fished an open there, my first time there, and I almost came in dead last. Like,
interesting.
I had no clue what I was doing. Like, showed up, kid from Alabama. I didn't know what I was doing, and it showed pretty, showed on the results. But then we had an elite there, and I think the next year, and I made the cut, and then the next time I went back and for elite, that's when I was catching them pretty good. And stubbed my toe the last day, and then we've had, I guess, 2 MLFs there now. Missed the cut barely the last time, and this one, know how it went down. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of been mixed results, but it's treated me better, I guess, than not.
Well, I guess I'm thinking about the elite, and then of course this BPT because you were just all over the camera the whole time, but. You mean Jordan Lee has finishes in in your history? I didn't think you've ever missed a cut. I didn't.
Yeah, you go back. You can go back. You can find some good ones in there. Some of those good 150s.
Let's call those. We'll call those Luke Duncan finishes that drive you to hosting a podcast.
Hey,
I've had more of those than I've had the good ones.
Hey, you don't have to go out there and sweat and maybe beat your head against the wall.
That's true.
Near as mud.
I do miss it, but I don't miss that part of it. I don't miss the beating my head against the wall part of it. So, dude, another stat that I just found was crazy, and you probably know all this good, pretty better than I do, but I feel like maybe you don't because you probably don't keep up with it. You were a bass fishing millionaire in 2020. And now in 2023, you just eclipsed over 2 million, dude.
Wow!
I just saw that. Like, that's crazy for me to wrap my head around that you hit it just 3 years ago, and you've already stacked another million on top of that in earnings. I mean, would you like to sponsor Low Budget Live? Is my next question. You just swimming around all this money?
Yeah, I think I'm coming on. That's my next step, is starting a sponsor podcast. You're gonna have to lay some J. Lee rods on the front right there with your your express.
Just put a pile of them right here in front of me. You can just only see my face staring through the J. Lee rods. I think.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think we can work something out. Have your people call my people.
Yeah, I think I could sign on with that.
Just a pile of rods.
Pretty crazy though, man. Yeah, it's been good to me. Obviously, but I mean, I don't know. It's crazy to think that for sure.
Is it?
But you don't plan on that coming into bass fishing for sure. I mean, it's not something you're like, you wake up and say, yeah, this is how much money I want to make doing this. You don't plan on making much, but.
Well, do you ever sit back though, and you're a young man still, but you've got this resume with 2 classics and these BPT wins and AOYs, and you made the Elite Series early on, and you gave the classic hell before you ever even won it when you were still at Auburn, and I mean, dude, like, what's left? I mean, I know you just love bass fishing. It's like today you just out there with Hadley dobbing around, and you're going to be doing that till the day you die, because I know you. I know how you are. But, man, like, as far as the sport is concerned, I mean, do you see yourself doing this another 20, 30 years? Still just being this tournament? I mean, what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like, I've just always wanted a career in this. I can't really see myself doing anything else. But, all you can really hope for when you're a professional angler is to have a long career, I mean, and make a living for your family and like make memories along the way. And I mean, that's, I don't go into a year. I mean, obviously you want to win tournaments too, but, I feel like if you can make a living bass fishing, and that's pretty special in itself.
Pretty freaking amazing. Yeah, man.
Pretty amazing. So that's kind of my mindset. I mean, I'm not one to, I mean, I may not be as big of a competitor as some of the guys, where I just like, God, I want to just win so bad. I'll just, run over
anything.
A crowd of folks.
I'll do anything.
Yeah, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm like, okay, we'll go to the next one, right?
Yeah.
But you just want to make a career doing it, and I mean, I don't see myself being. So, some of the guys' ages that are competing at our level, like I think I'll be, if I could retire at a certain age, when I'm older, and I say this is kind of been enough. I'll come out here to Gunnersville and fish in BFLs and do something else maybe, but
yeah.
For the long haul, this is where I'm going to be.
Do you think that, I mean, I don't think anybody wants to be like Gerald Swindle. You don't want to be 117 years old and still out there.
Exactly.
Taking ice baths. Nobody wants to be like that.
No. You don't want to be taking ice baths, bass fishing. But I'm on that. Hey, I'm on the path for that for sure.
Oh, for sure. We all are, dude. This sport just wreaks hell on your entire existence.
Yeah, now you're nixing it, looking down at the freaking live scopes and active targets. You're going to have to do a ice bath for your neck.
Do you think that it's harder now? I talk about this a lot on here, and you've seen it in your short time. Even with all your successes, you've seen a lot of changes in the industry. I mean, obviously, going back to 2019, hell, our whole industry turned over on its head as far as pro fishing was concerned, right? I mean, it's just a lot of things have changed. But do you think it's harder now for a younger guy, like when you and your brother first came up in it, do you think it's harder now to actually make that living to feed your family with a rod and reel than it was 10 years ago?
100%.
Yeah.
110%. I mean, it's crazy how hard it is. Like, I just couldn't imagine coming in right now and starting all over. I mean, it really would be, extremely hard. You got all these different tours and just the price of everything and just how hard the competition's just exploded.
It's crazy, dude.
It's crazy. It would be a hard time to come up and be like, I'm gonna come out here. It's just not. There's just so many different avenues, like we all know. I mean, MLF and Bassmaster Opens, hundreds of guys fishing all these different trails, and man, you just kind of get lost in it. I mean, and when I was coming up, you had the FLW Tour, and you had Bass, and there wasn't 100 guys, 300 guys trying to make the elites. Guys turning it down. I mean, now you got guys, they'd probably never do that. But
I was going to say, they do, just like you said earlier, they'd run through a crowd of daggum kids to get an elite invite just to get to go pay entry fees.
Yeah, you're 20th place in points. Come on.
Yeah, come on. But I do remember just when I started, going way back, when I was 19 and I fished the Opens a couple years, they'd have to call down on the freaking list to get people to go. Like they'd take the top 5 in the points. Hell, they'd call down to freaking 15th place sometimes to get people enough spots to go fish at the next level. And now you've got just so many. I mean, 160 or 80 started the year trying to get through in the EQs, and you see these dudes like an Ish or a Bobby Lane that they left MLF to go back in, and dude, Jason Christie made it look like it's easy. But
it's not,
but even the year he did it, it was probably harder than when he first qualified by a long shot, I would say, competition-wise. But now with the EQ format, dude, I can't imagine giving up being on the BPT, even if you disagree, whatever, wherever you're at, and going, I want to get in the opens and try to get back to the elites. Like, because, dude, no money to be made. Like, it's a tough damn road to hoe. I looked, I was talking to little Trey Swindle.
You can run if you want
the LOB the other day, and himself about the opens and things. And then I was looking at the tackle warehouse, the invitationals. And it's amazing to me to see that there are going to be some guys. I think that might be it. Do you think that's a quicker path if you just fish the invitationals and you fish all 6 in the opens? I'm not saying an easier path, but a quicker path to the top rung of the sport. Like you could get to the BPT through those invitationals.
I mean, both are obviously hard. But I mean, I guess it's kind of comparing apples to oranges at this point.
It is.
It's both are hard. Both you got to catch them. You got to put your time in, and so I mean, it's kind of whatever. If the angler's not feeling it as much, I mean, you don't have to fish as many tournaments, I guess.
Yeah.
In the invitationals, and so that may be a reason you probably maybe not spending as much money. I don't know the entry fees, and all how everything works out on both.
It's probably a wash that I think
it's
on
probably
that.
The same.
Yeah, just because I think the entry fees are higher in the invitationals, but you only got 6 tournaments. The payout's a little bit better, but the entry fee is higher than in the opens. But I do think you got 6 tournaments versus 9. Pretty good schedule, live coverage. I don't know. I was just looking at it. I was joking with Trey, and I said, "Hell, man, that's a pretty good gig there."
Yeah, I mean, I don't know honestly what I would do coming up if I had to start all over now. Like
coming out of Auburn again, like how do you pick?
Yeah,
how do you pick?
What do you do? I mean, you just got to pick one and see how it goes, really. But I mean, the 9 tournaments and as many anglers that are doing it through the opens, that's a bigger field. I mean, I don't know. You just kind of got to pick and go with it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Of course, you win one, you go to the Classic. They got that carrot.
Yeah,
for dang sure. But if you win on the invitationals, I think you go to Red Crest too now. I think
that's new this year.
Yeah, I think that's a win and you're in thing too. So yeah, it's confusing. I always and I had that in my notes to ask you about like the path. Like if Jordan Lee's coming out of Auburn again, because you kind of got to pick and see where you fit in, I guess, more than anything. What is, and I think because they're both doing a lot of good things, they're both doing stuff that I disagree with, and I think a lot of people do. It's not perfect, right? It's not a perfect sport. It's not, as long as we're all paying entry fees and all that at that level, it's never going to be perfect. I'd like to see a lot of things change, and I know that you probably feel the same way on that, just as far as like, payouts got to get better and blah, 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 blah. We can go about that all day long. But I think for an individual, for a younger angler, if you're listening to a college angler, you just got to figure out what path's the best for you financially, the time you got. Yeah. I don't think there's a shortcut to it necessarily, but I do think those opens are like Thunderdome.
Grueling. This is the word, grueling.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, MLF, we started off with the no entry fees. We went back to paying.
A little bit, right?
We went back to paying, like, I think the year after we were paying the full, whatever it is, 40,000. I can't even keep up and I'm fishing it. But now we're, we got back to 10,000 a year, but you're not winning as much. So it's kind of the same deal, but probably a little bit better on them, but not much. It's honestly probably about the same because you're not winning as much.
The
lower end stuff.
The house wins. And
the house wins.
House wins.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, I feel deep down like if in a couple of years maybe we could get back to that, but that shouldn't be a decision that somebody should make and say, hey, I'm going to go fish this tour because of that, because you don't know what's going to happen the next year.
No, they could all be one thing at some point. We don't know. Who freaking knows? And anybody that says, I think Kyle Wilcher said it on this show, he said, anybody that says that they wouldn't take the money ain't ever been offered the money.
Exactly. 100%.
That was like my favorite Wilcher quote.
That's a good quote.
He's like, they're lying. They're lying.
Mm-hmm.
He said they ain't ever been offered the money. All right, so I gotta put you on the spot about this just because I gotta
put me
ask.
on it.
I gotta ask. What about this Cayuga craziness? All right, so what's the Joe Lee take on Cayuga?
Man, honestly, that was probably one of the most nightmare tournaments that we could have had. For a couple of different reasons. Obviously, going into it, nobody knew that. Thought it was going to be awesome. You're going up north where you can't put fish in your live well. And obviously we can go out there and fish and weigh them and let them go, and it's all good. But it just doesn't set up after we've all seen everything, catching the same fish over and over again. I mean, you do what you got to do to obviously, if it's per rules, if you're following the rules, it's all good, right?
Yeah.
But and on camera, I mean, when you got, they just didn't probably take that into effect, and nobody else did. I mean, you think there'd be hundreds of fish and you catch them and they get a little harder to catch, but I mean, those fish got caught. I mean, just over and over again. And it's just kind of unfortunate that it had to go like that. But I mean, when it comes to catching fish on the same day, obviously hooking fish outside the mouth, that it looked like that.
Yeah,
right?
sure looks like it on camera. Yeah, for sure.
It sure looks like it on camera. I mean, that's
not showing fish to officials. Even Marty Stone pointed that out,
Yep. That's when it's like, all right, guys. I mean, you walk into, Daniel Fennell, and how you've fished a lot of tournaments with him. He's a great tournament director.
Yeah.
I just think these organizations honestly get put in tough positions when it comes to on the spot making a decision. I would have liked to seen that, obviously, being an angler and following the rules like a lot of guys were. You'd like to see something happen, and it still may, but it was just honestly a train wreck as far as that goes.
Well, I was talking to Wheeler, and he said put in a bad spot. A lot of guys were put in a bad spot, and they got desperate. And he's not talking about like the people breaking rules. He was like, just the guys that felt like they had to go catch those fish, the same fish a couple days in a row. And he said, and you had 5 guys catching the same one. He said it was just a disaster from that perspective, and more words or less. That's kind of, he and I were talking the week after, and he's like, it was just a bad spot. But unfortunately, what I hate is that you might never get to be in that situation again to catch big bed and smallmouth, because that's, to me, is as much fun as you can have with your clothes on. It's a damn good time, but it's
awesome.
This is going to mess it up, though, right? From a fan perspective. People are just going to go crazy and scream and cry if you have another one. The locals up there were pissed that y'all were getting to have a tournament before they could have a tournament, regardless of the format. I mean, and then you have the debacle from I don't know, man. I hate that. And somebody, and this was from an MLF employee, says, man, we take 3 steps forward and 40 back in a situation like this. And he said it sucks because this year has been freaking awesome. Obviously, this didn't affect you in any way because you won at St. Clair. But when I had Watson on, for me, it was frustrating that the guys in question just got to show up at St. Clair and go on about their business, and it's like, and there are a couple that made the cut. You know what I mean? Like as a competitor, if I'm in the event, I'm like, hell no, you ain't fishing. Get out of here. You ain't here this week, Bubba. And I just that's frustrating.
Yeah, and it's part of our format, us letting go. Obviously, if it was a normal tournament, but we wouldn't have got to fish at that exact time.
That's right.
And it just been different, but that's the one. Bedding smallmouth for our catch, weigh, and release is just, it's not ideal. And I think we all proved that. And I hate to see that obviously go away because like you said, it's just a blast, but it's just not ideal to have a tournament like that, unfortunately, because they're so stupid. But
the fish were stupid. Some of the anglers were stupid. I mean,
yeah, it was just a stupid whole deal all the way around.
And I did a show, and I know you and I talked about it, but just like the desperation level, and it's true, man. Guys not everybody's Jordan Lee, and not everybody's Jacob Wheeler or Little Alton's killing them this year, leading angler of the year, and he's crushing it. And not everybody, and I was texting with Little Alton, and I said, and I think I told you, and I told Wheeler, I said, it's y'all's damn fault. Y'all beating the brakes off these boys. And
you're catching them too good.
Y'all catching them too good, and you're making them lose their damn minds. They're losing their minds over it.
I guess, man. I don't know what it is.
It's a pressure cooker, though, Joe. You know that. It's a pressure cooker. You talking about beating your head against the wall when you're trying to get sponsors, when you're trying to just figure out how to compete against guys like yourself, and it's a pressure cooker for guys, and we're seeing that now. I mean, we are.
Yeah.
I think more than ever.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that one bit. I mean, it's unfortunate that it comes to that, but like you said, that's just what it's came to. I mean, at least in that event, it was. I mean, the desperation and just want to catch them so bad.
Well, and I think that in the situation sets up, it's like it's that temptation thing too. If you're not in that smallmouth situation, it's hard to, like, with the score tracker and everything. You're like, man, I need a 5-3. That's where that temptation kicks in, right? And you're like, well, hell, I know where one's at.
Yeah, and it's going to bite.
And so if you've got that little bit of devil on your shoulder and you lean with it, you roll over there and pitch your cricket over there. It's like, oh, look at this. I hope this one helps.
And it was, and here's what was crazy. Like I went down this stretch, up there the second day, and I couldn't catch a couple of them, because I guess obviously they'd probably been caught, because if they bite first cast, obviously they probably haven't been caught. But when you're sitting there and they're running off and they're all skittish, you kind of know what's up, right? But then I'd catch a couple down this one stretch, and I'm like, well, I don't know which one I didn't catch, so I'm going to go back down the stretch, and that's just what I did. But I couldn't have gone back down that stretch. I mean, I could have easily gone back down that stretch and caught one and been like, dude, I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, and been okay because you weren't trying to be shady. You just didn't know.
Yeah, but I chose not to, and whatever. But that's just kind of that's that tournament in a nutshell. Like that's why that's so hard to even know. Like at times, especially if you had a stretch that had a lot of fish on it.
There were a bunch of them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Well, I'm hearing that that there may be one guy gets a penalty, but other than that, maybe not. But we'll see. I'm sure hopefully sooner than later we'll find out. But y'all got one more left to sort it out. Can you win Angler of the Year? Points?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So you think you're out?
I'm out, yeah. Which is okay. I mean, I didn't have like this. I was in 16th in the points, which is, I mean, that's great. That's good. But winning that one obviously bumped me up. But there's, Alton has been just on fire, and I mean Wheeler has too. Obviously, minus one tournament, which if he didn't have that tournament, there's no telling how big of a lead he would have had. But
that's a fact.
Still a great year, and I mean, winning a tournament just means that's pretty much everything.
So hard to do, dude.
yeah, it's so hard to do. You want to be consistent and all that, but man, there's nothing like winning a tournament.
Well, and you
So
in y'all's format where you have you fish 2 days and then everybody fishes the third and then the top 10 go to the fourth. You see guys kind of lay off of them once they have and you just, it appeared, I mean, those first 2 days, I mean, you just sacked them up. I mean, you just didn't let off the gas that much. And you may have, I know you said you jumped around areas, whatnot, but I think in this format, it's harder to win because it does turn into a 2-day tournament, but there's so much strategy involved because if you're not there for those last 2 days, it don't matter anyways. So you got to freaking catch them. But I do think it's hard to win, obviously.
yeah, and like I found the fish that I won on the second day. I knew I was in the cut, and then it was blowing 100, and I knew what I had found, what I was catching them wasn't going to win the tournament. Right, I knew, I could just tell. It was enough to make the cut, but so I just started just going, practicing, which didn't even get to practice. So it was just kind of, and I stumbled across them, and that's how I pretty much won the tournament, was that second day. And that's crazy. Why my weights was, weights looked like it went up. They did, but I found a new group of fish.
And in that group, how many do you think were in it up there? Because I'm always fascinated by that, especially with forward facing now. Because St. Clair's weird; they school up, but they're hard to see at times. And now, but I've not been since forward facing, so
it's man, it's interesting. Like how many drum and different fish. I was catching a lot of different species. I probably couldn't even name them all in here, but the fish were. When you catch one, you hit a waypoint, and then you kind of get out of them. And like what I like to do on St. Clair's, make a grid. Obviously the thing you want to find is where you hit a couple waypoints, you get back in that area, and they're good fish, 4 or 5 pounders, and you get back in that area, you get bit again. So you kind of make some waypoints, and you figure out like a little zone, narrowing it down, and that's like what you want to find out there. And that's what I found, was just that one little zone, and there was nothing different on the bottom. It was basically nothing on the bottom. It wasn't anything you'd ride over on sonar and be like, man, they should be here.
Yeah. Because there's literally nothing out there. That's the most infuriating thing about St. Clair.
Yeah, there was some grass around this area, like a couple inches, maybe a foot tall in some places, but this area didn't have anything, but you couldn't even really tell. But you definitely could pan around over there in that area, and you'd see some fish, and they wouldn't be like a giant school, probably be 2, 3, 4 fish.
Okay. So it wasn't, you weren't seeing 50 then?
No. Wasn't seeing a giant wad of fish.
Not like them scoos on Guntersville you're looking at.
No,
right
it doesn't
now.
look like that. It doesn't look like that.
The ones
but they would bite. I mean, it's crazy. 95% of the fish I caught bait probably didn't get to the bottom, and they were all like almost gut hooked too.
Really?
So they were literally eating it when it was coming down and swallowing it.
No kidding.
That quick.
That's terrible. That sounds like
it was
fun. Horrible time. Fun. You had a horrible time winning $100,000 up there at St. Clair. All right, buddy. I'm gonna get you on one more thing, and then I'm gonna let you get back to Hadley. Just because I feel like if you've given that man this much time on Guntersville, he's probably got you in a bad shape. Like he's catching them. I feel like he's catching them right over your shoulder.
He hadn't yet, but I had him in a bad area. I don't know why I've been going.
It's like ultimate match fishing. You just put him in a bad area. Okay.
Yeah, I put him in a bad area.
Yeah, totally get it. I totally understand it. I don't think that with you two in the boat together, I don't think there's a bad area that you guys have crossed today, most likely. But so I'm getting to know your buddy Slick a little bit here. And Slick and I are a lot alike in a lot of ways. Do you think he will need, I saw him make a video, do you think he'll need a bodyguard at ICAST since he's decided to come to ICAST? Do you think that he might need one?
I mean, I've been looking into Orlando security to see if we can't get a bodyguard on him, armed bodyguard.
Yeah, he may need it.
He may need it. I think he's prepared for that. He's prepared for that. So at least he knows he's probably going to have to, we're going to have to hire some for him down there.
I try to tell him, look, dude, here's the thing. I've been doing this a long time. I piss people off at times. I make them happy at times. But Slick does like to stand on, like jump up and down on the things.
Yeah,
on the things.
he does.
He does not shy away. I will tell him. I don't back off for much, and you know that. He knows that.
No,
but he's full force. He's full force.
He is full force.
Alabama Bass Council.
The council, yeah. I don't think he's worried about what somebody says about him. Or
I don't think so either.
I don't think he is, from what I know.
He's full send. I like me some Slick after getting to know him. I got to do some live coverage on Wheeler during the ABT, and I pulled up on him, and he just like kind of hung his head, like, "Damn it, that's who they sent to do on the water coverage."
Yeah, that's a crew right there.
It is a crew. Him.
That would be my top pick for a tournament director and tournament enforcer. Would be Luke Duncan and Slick.
Slick. I don't know that I've got. Listen, I got enough gray hairs, and I'm losing my hair as is. I don't need that stress in my life. Y'all Bass Pros is a bunch of y'all worse than a bunch of damn chicks at a hair salon bitching about stuff.
That's what it's like.
You're never going to win that battle, by the way. Never going to win that battle. No. Jolie, I'll see you at ICAST. I expect you to have my contract ready for the J. Lee low budget live sponsorship. Have Kristen draw it up. I'll have my people look at it.
Deal.
All right, buddy. Tell Hadley I said hello.
Get Joe to look at it. Get Joe to look at it.
Yeah, I got a good lawyer. I have to send him cinder blocks. I pay him in cinder blocks for his brush piles. You follow?
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Oh, Joe Lee, everybody, not to be confused with Joe Durham. Want to be a pro, better call Joe. Jordan Lee, I appreciate you. Exit. I appreciate you, buddy.
All right, man.
See ya. Jordan Lee right there. Getting the sauce from Joe Lee. The W sauce. Oh, my goodness. That boy. I know we're all over the place. We tend to do that when we talk. But finding it interesting, just that the level of difficulty. I know I beat it into the ground on here, but it is it's changing, man. It is. It's a fast-paced sport, more so now than ever. It's easy to get left behind, and it does lead to, and I know I'm like week 3 talking about this, and I'm tired of talking about it, to be honest, but the desperation level. People are thirsty, man. They're thirsty. They're so thirsty for attention, for winnings. I mean, you're talking to a dude that's got $2 million in career earnings. Things are going well because he is one of he'll go down as one of the top 10 greatest to ever do this. I really believe that, obviously. And when you're not that and you're just kind of picking at it here and there and having a little success, but then not, it just kicks that desperation level up. And I think the situation for sure those guys got put in that bed and smallmouth tournament led to some shady stuff. But again, I've said it, if you're willing to be shady in that situation, what else have you been shady doing? And Joe spoke on that a little bit there. And I know he's pretty opinionated on what happened. And but he's not like me. He doesn't run his mouth. He's not like his buddy Slick. He doesn't run his mouth that much. But Joe Lee right there on the podcast. And maybe we'll find out more at ICAST this week. I'm sure the old I will get to see a lot of old friends. And I'm sure have some interesting conversations. I'll keep everybody posted. We got ICAST, and then we turn around and got the next MPFL coming up the week after that. So busy as always. Proud to be making a living in the fishing and marine industry. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Again, thank y'all for the well wishes, the birthday wishes, all that good stuff, man. It does not go unnoticed. I appreciate it. And we'll take y'all out, as always, with some Biloxi Blues, and I will see y'all after ICAST, the Game Changers. See ya.
Spanish moss, a Civil War ghost.
Helps if I turn the music on.
See ya. Any direction, Lord, I I'll be fine, it don't matter east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care, no, I don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.